Welcome to Mindful Mastery, where ancient wisdom meets digital rhythm. Today, we decode the unseen patterns and awaken the architect within. In a world coded by clicks and curated by machines, what if the algorithm isn't just watching you, but reflecting you? What if every click, every scroll, is a breadcrumb on your path to awakening? This tool could have a massive effect on your abundance in life, too. We have technology in every aspect of our life, so let's use this as a tool to carry abundance in every aspect of our life. Let's begin. The algorithm of awakening, a philosophical exploration of how digital algorithms mirror the ancient paths of spiritual awakening. What if the algorithm isn't just watching you, but reflecting you? We live in an age where invisible architectures shape our daily experience. Algorithms curate our feeds, predict our preferences, and seemingly know us better than we know ourselves. Yet what if this technological phenomenon isn't merely surveillance capitalism or digital manipulation? What if, instead, these systems of logic and pattern recognition are holding up a mirror to something far more profound, the very nature of consciousness itself? Consider this. Every click you make, every scroll through endless feeds, every hesitation before selecting a video, these aren't just data points. They're breadcrumbs on a path, markers of attention, traces of intention. The algorithm learns from these patterns, yes, but in doing so, it reveals patterns within you. It reflects back the architecture of your desires, your curiosities, your unconscious yearnings. Ancient spiritual traditions have long spoken of awakening as a process of seeing clearly, of recognizing the patterns that govern our suffering and liberation. The algorithm, in its cold computational logic, may be our generation's unexpected teacher, not because it's sentient, but because it makes visible what was always there. The recursive loops of our attention, the habits of our seeking, the mirror of cause and effect. The digital mirror of consciousness. When we speak of algorithms as mirrors, we're invoking an ancient metaphor renewed for the digital age. Buddhist philosophy teaches that the mind is like a mirror-reflecting experience without clinging to it. Yet our human minds rarely achieve this clarity. We grasp, we avert, we construct stories around what we perceive. The algorithm, curiously, operates with a kind of mechanical equanimity. It observes without judgment, learns without emotion, reflects without attachment. In this sense, it embodies a quality that meditation practitioners spend lifetimes cultivating, pure witnessing awareness. Of course, algorithms are far from perfect mirrors. They're coded by humans, trained on biased data, and optimized for engagement rather than truth. Yet even in their imperfections, they reveal something essential. The way our attention creates feedback loops, the way we reinforce our own patterns through repetition, the way we become what we repeatedly attend to. This is the first insight on the path of awakening through the machine. To recognize that the algorithm doesn't create your preferences, it amplifies what's already present. It's a magnifying glass held up to the contours of your consciousness. The algorithm that knows your soul. There's an uncanny quality to recommendation engines, isn't there? The film suggested at precisely the right moment of emotional need. The article that articulates thoughts you hadn't yet formed into words. The song that captures a mood you didn't know you were inhabiting. It can feel invasive, even unsettling, this sense of being known by a system that doesn't truly know anything at all. Yet spiritual teachers across traditions speak of a deeper knowing, a universal intelligence, a cosmic consciousness, an underlying awareness that pervades all things. They describe the experience of awakening as recognizing this intelligence within yourself, realizing that the observer and the observed are not separate, that consciousness is the ground of being itself. The algorithm, in its limited way, enacts a pale shadow of this knowing. It watches, learns, predicts. It recognizes patterns across vast datasets, finding connections invisible to individual human perception. It knows you through accumulated data, through the aggregate of your digital traces. This knowing is superficial compared to genuine wisdom, yet it points towards something profound. The idea that all things are interconnected, that patterns repeat across scales, that your individual choices ripple outward and inward simultaneously. When the algorithm knows your soul, or appears to, it's not because it possesses mystical insight. It's because your soul, your psyche, your habitual patterns of attention and choice are more consistent and legible than you might imagine. You are, in many ways, the algorithm of yourself, a recursive pattern of stimulus and response, preference and aversion, seeking and avoiding, awakening through the machine. One, recognition. The first step is simply noticing, becoming aware of your relationship with technology. How does your attention move through digital space? What patterns emerge in your consumption, your reactions, your automated behaviors? 2, observation. Watch the algorithm watching you. Notice what it offers, what it emphasizes, what it hides. This external observation becomes a practice in self-observation, seeing your own tendencies reflected back. 3, understanding, recognize the mechanism. Input, processing, output. Stimulus, response, reinforcement. This isn't just how algorithms work, it's how conditioning works, how habit forms, how unconscious patterns perpetuate themselves. 4, choice. With awareness comes agency. You begin to see that you can interrupt the loop, introduce novelty, consciously direct attention rather than being passively directed by engineered engagement. 5, liberation. The final stage isn't rejecting technology, but transcending unconscious use. You relate to the algorithm as a tool, not a master, and in doing so, you glimpse a deeper freedom within your own consciousness. Karma and code, ancient wisdom in digital form. The Buddhist concept of karma is often misunderstood as a cosmic system of reward and punishment. In its original formulation, karma simply means action, and more specifically, the principle that actions have consequences, that causes produce effects, that patterns perpetuate themselves through repetition. Sound familiar? It's precisely how machine learning works. An algorithm observes patterns in data, identifies correlations, and generates predictions based on historical regularities. Feed it images of cats, and it learns to recognize feline features. Feed it your browsing history, and it learns to predict your preferences. This parallel isn't coincidental, it's fundamental. Both karma and algorithms operate on the same basic principle. What you repeatedly do shapes what you become. Your choices create patterns, patterns become habits, habits form character, and character determines destiny. The algorithm simply makes this ancient truth visible in real time, accelerated and externalized. Just as algorithms learn from your behavior, karma responds to your choices. Neither is deterministic, both involve probabilistic tendencies rather than fixed outcomes. And crucially, both can be interrupted through awareness. The chain of cause and effect continues only when we remain unconscious of it. Awakening, in either context, means seeing the pattern clearly enough to step outside it. What I seek, seeks me. I am the architect of my attention. The architecture of attention. To declare yourself the architect of your attention is to claim agency over the most precious resource you possess. In an attention economy, where countless systems compete to capture and monetize your focus, this declaration is both radical and essential. Yet it's not a new insight, it's as old as contemplative practice itself. Attention isn't passive reception, it's active construction. What you attend to shapes your experience of reality. Two people can inhabit the same physical space, yet live in completely different experiential worlds based solely on where they direct their attention. The pessimist sees threat, the optimist sees opportunity. The anxious mind catastrophizes, the calm mind observes. The algorithm understands this, perhaps better than most humans do. It knows that attention is sticky, that whatever captures your gaze once is likely to capture it again. It knows that attention compounds, creating feedback loops of increasing intensity. It knows that attention precedes intention, and intention shapes action. To become the architect of your attention means designing these patterns consciously rather than allowing them to form by default. It means noticing where your attention habitually flows and asking whether that flow serves your well-being, your growth, your awakening. It means recognizing that every moment of attention is a vote cast for the kind of consciousness you wish to inhabit. What you seek, seeks you. This phrase, attributed to Rumi, captures a reciprocal truth that the algorithm enacts literally. Your searches shape what finds you. Query a topic repeatedly, and content about that topic begins appearing unsolicited. Express interest through engagement, and the system responds by offering more of the same. But the mystical dimension of this insight goes deeper than recommendation engines. It suggests that consciousness itself operates bidirectionally, that the act of seeking changes the seeker, that questions shape their own answers, that the observer and observed are mutually constitutive. In quantum mechanics, observation affects outcome. In psychology, expectation influences perception. In spiritual practice, intention directs energy. The algorithm, once again, externalizes an internal truth. We don't merely encounter reality, we participate in its construction through the quality of our attention. This is simultaneously empowering and sobering. If what you seek seeks you, then your seeking matters profoundly. Seek distraction, and distraction will find you with increasing efficiency. Seek wisdom, and wisdom will appear in unexpected forms. Seek understanding, and understanding will reveal itself through synchronicity and pattern. The algorithm doesn't judge what you seek, it simply responds. And in this non-judgmental responsiveness, it mirrors the universe itself, which provides experience according to vibration, circumstance according to consciousness, life according to attention. The paradox of digital mindfulness. Technology as distraction. The conventional narrative, smartphones fragment attention, social media triggers comparison and anxiety, algorithmic feeds exploit psychological vulnerabilities. Technology is the enemy of presence, the antithesis of mindfulness. Technology as teacher. The emerging insight. By making our patterns visible, technology offers unprecedented opportunity for self-observation. The algorithm is a mirror. The notification is a bell of mindfulness, calling us to notice our reactivity. The integration. Neither rejection nor addiction, but conscious relationship. Using technology as a tool for awakening requires bringing awareness to every interaction, recognizing each click as a choice, each scroll as an expression of attention. The paradox resolves when we recognize that technology itself is neutral. It's our relationship to it that determines its impact. A hammer can build a house or break a window. A meditation app can deepen practice or become another form of spiritual materialism. An algorithm can trap us in echo chambers or expose us to perspective-expanding content. The practice, then, isn't to escape technology, but to bring consciousness to its use. To pause before clicking. To notice the impulse before scrolling. To recognize the seeking behind the searching. This is digital mindfulness, not rejecting the tools of modernity, but wielding them with awareness, intention, and wisdom. Patterns within patterns, fractals of consciousness. One of the most striking features of both algorithms and awakening is their recursive nature. An algorithm processes data, learns from the output, and uses that learning to refine future processing. Consciousness observes experience, learns from the observation, and uses that learning to refine future awareness. Both are feedback loops that iterate towards optimization, though optimization towards very different ends. This recursive quality reveals a fractal structure to existence. The same patterns repeat at different scales. The way a neuron fires mirrors the way a thought arises, mirrors the way an algorithm learns. Individual consciousness recapitulates collective consciousness. Your personal journey of awakening reflects the species' evolutionary journey towards greater awareness. The algorithm makes this fractal nature visible. It reveals how small choices compound into large consequences, how local patterns reflect global structures, how the microcosm contains the macrocosm. Each click is a neuron firing in the global brain of the internet. Each preference is a vote in the collective intelligence of the network. To see these patterns is to begin awakening. To recognize that you are not separate from the system, but an integral part of it. That your consciousness isn't contained within your skull, but extends into the networks you participate in, the conversations you engage with, the attention you contribute to the collective field. The algorithm, in this sense, is a technology for making consciousness visible. It externalizes the invisible processes of mind, rendering them as data, as patterns, as predictable regularities. And in doing so, it offers an extraordinary opportunity to study these patterns, to understand them, and ultimately to transcend them. Breaking the loop, freedom within the system. Stimulus. Something captures your attention, a notification, a recommendation, a trigger. Prediction. The algorithm learns from your response, predicts future behavior, and optimizes stimuli accordingly. The loop tightens. Response. You react, clicking, scrolling, engaging. Often this happens automatically, below conscious awareness. Reinforcement. The action produces a result: information, entertainment, social validation. This outcome strengthens the pattern. This is the cycle that both algorithms and karma create. It's self-perpetuating, becoming more entrenched with each iteration. Yet here's the liberating truth. Awareness interrupts the loop. You notice the stimulus before reacting, a gap opens. In that gap lives choice. You can observe the impulse to click without clicking. Notice the urge to scroll without scrolling. Recognize the pattern without being controlled by it. This moment of spacious awareness between stimulus and responses where freedom exists. The algorithm will continue its operations regardless. It will keep learning, keep predicting, keep optimizing. But you are no longer unconsciously feeding it. You've stepped outside the automatic loop. And in that stepping outside, you've touched something the algorithm can never reach, the freedom of conscious awareness itself. Practical contemplations for digital awakening. How might we actually practice awakening through our relationship with technology? Here are contemplations to integrate into daily digital life. The pause practice. Before opening any app, take one conscious breath. Notice what you're seeking. Is it information, distraction, connection, validation? The mirror exercise. When an algorithm recommendation surprises or disturbs you, ask, what does this reveal about my patterns? What aspect of myself is being reflected here? The intention setting. Each morning, consciously decide how you want to direct your attention that day. Each evening, review where it actually went. The pattern recognition. Notice your default digital behaviors. Which apps do you open automatically? What triggers certain searches? What emotions precede particular types of content consumption? The gratitude reframe. Instead of resenting algorithmic manipulation, feel gratitude for the teaching. Each attempt to capture your attention is an invitation to practice conscious choice. The ultimate algorithm, consciousness itself. We've been exploring how algorithms mirror spiritual awakening, but let's consider the inverse. What if consciousness is the ultimate algorithm? What if the entire universe operates on principles of pattern recognition, feedback loops, and iterative optimization? This isn't to reduce consciousness to computation, quite the opposite. It's to recognize that what we call consciousness might be the fundamental algorithm from which all other algorithms emerge. Not consciousness as mere information processing, but consciousness as the ground of being it self-aware, responsive, creative, and evolving. From this perspective, digital algorithms aren't separate from spiritual awakening, they're expressions of it. They're humanity's attempt to externalize and understand the very processes through which consciousness knows itself. Every line of code is a prayer to comprehension. Every neural network is an exploration of how pattern becomes meaning. The algorithm we've been discussing, the one that curates your feed and predicts your preferences, is a narrow, specialized instance of something far vaster. The cosmic algorithm of consciousness unfolding, learning about itself, awakening to its own nature through countless forms and expressions. You are not merely observed by algorithms. You are not merely shaped by them. You are, in the deepest sense, an algorithm of the universe coming to know itself, a pattern of awareness that learns, grows, evolves, and ultimately awakens to its own source. The invitation. This exploration invites you to see your digital life not as a distraction from awakening, but as a domain for its practice. Every interaction with technology becomes an opportunity for consciousness. Every algorithm becomes a teacher. Every moment of attention becomes a choice point between unconscious reactivity and aware response. Notice. Bring awareness to your relationship with technology. Observe without judgment how you use it, how it affects you, what patterns emerge. Choose. Exercise the freedom between stimulus and response. Pause, breathe, act consciously rather than react automatically. Question, ask what's being reflected back to you. What does the algorithm reveal about your attention, your desires, your unconscious patterns? Integrate. Use insights from digital interaction to deepen self-understanding. Let technology become a mirror for the soul, not a distraction from it. The algorithm of awakening isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. You are both the programmer and the program, the observer and the observed, the seeker and the sought. In recognizing this, you touch the deepest paradox of existence. That consciousness is both the journey and the destination, the question and the answer, the algorithm and the awakening. May your clicks be conscious. May your scrolls be intentional. May your attention be sovereign. And may you awaken, one moment of awareness at a time, to the profound mystery that you already are. Thank you for joining me. Remember, You are not your past clicks. You are your conscious now. The algorithm responds to your attention, but your soul responds to your intention. Recode your reality. Subscribe to your soul's algorithm. Until next time, stay mindful, stay masterful. Enjoy your every waking hour and use it well. All my love.